Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Today we got a pretty interesting restoration slash custom build. This car, this Lotus Indy car, was released in 1969. It's part of the Grand Prix series, and this car was only produced in Hong Kong. Now, it's a fantastic car, and it usually raced pretty well down the orange track. Well, it came with a decal sheet, and most of the decals you see were placed on by children. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to try and restore this car slash customize it to make it look like the real car that raced at the Indianapolis 500. This car was raced by Graham Hill in the 1968 Indy 500, and although it didn't do too bad, it broke towards the end of the race. It had a lot of speed, but it just didn't maintain. Well, here's a picture of the original car. It's fluorescent red, fluorescent orange, and it's got some beautiful decals on it. We're going to try and recreate this, so let's go ahead and get started. I've already got the car drilled apart. Now, there's not really a place here where you can put a screwdriver or anything to pry it apart. Now, back here on the back, by the suspension, there's a little area where you might be able to get a screwdriver in there. So that's what I did, and that happened to work fine. So that's really cool. Here we've got the car apart. Let's go ahead and evaluate the pieces. The body overall is in pretty good shape. We're just going to have to strip the paint and get the post ready to accept some screws. That's not a bad deal there. The base is in excellent shape, but I still want to replace those wheels with some brand new ones. We'll polish up the base too. That'll look pretty cool. Now the windshield here, it's got a little bit of a crack there by the edge. Now I don't have a replacement at the moment, so I'm going to do the best I can with this one. Interior's in good shape. If I don't keep dropping it. And all we got to do really is take a toothbrush to it with some hot soapy water. We'll be okay. Here's my little container to keep my parts in because I don't like them all scattered all over my desk. So this is a really good practice for you guys too, and I know I've said it in some of the other videos. Now we're going to go ahead and dip the body in the embalming fluid and get that paint stripped off there. Be careful you don't put the mark of the forceps inside your body there by squeezing it too hard. The posts on this are really short, so it's really hard to grab them. Let that drip off a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and put it on our tray and let it set till it starts to come off. Usually only takes about 10-15 minutes or so, but I like to let it sit for a minimum of a few hours, sometimes the rest of the day. So I got some other things going on, so I'm going to let this sit overnight, and I'll be back in the morning.
7:59 a.m.
A nice early start here. Let's go ahead and take the base and put it in the mixture of lime-away and water. Now this is a 50-50 mixture. You got to be careful here, folks. Now I'm speeding up the footage here because this is kind of boring stuff. It's still cool to watch though. But you got to be careful about not leaving it in more than 3.5 to 4 minutes. Sometimes that's a little bit too long, so you got to monitor it and watch it closely because if you let it in there too long, it's going to turn the metal black. Now you can get a lot of it off, but sometimes you can't, so you really have to be careful there. Let's go ahead and pull it out now. It's been 3 minutes, and let's scrub it down with a brass brush. You need to be real careful here with the brass brush, because if you use a steel brush, it's just a little bit too aggressive. So it'll start to take off the metal. Here at least you're scrubbing it down and you're using the chemicals here to help you get it clean. And then when you're done, scrub it down in water with a toothbrush and some soap and water to get the residue off. Now we're going to go ahead and do the windshield. I really can't get in there and polish it because I said there's a crack there on the left-hand side in the front. So I'm kind of hoping here that the gauzy will help hold it in place and try to hide that crack a little bit. At least that's what I'm thinking anyways. And there's the crack I was telling you about. I think that temporarily this will help. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. And the best part about subscribing is it's free. And you'll be alerted to any of the videos that come out in the near future. So it's really cool. Go ahead and dip your windshield in the gauzy. Wick off the excess on a paper towel. Let's give it another coat. Like I said, wick off the excess. Had a little hair on there. I got cats. All right, that's good there. Let's close up the gauzy so you don't accidentally spill it. Hey, does that sound like the voice of experience? And then I'll cover it up to keep the dust bunnies and the woolly boogers off of it. And we'll set that aside. Now that the windshield's drying in the gauzy, or gauzy coated, let's go ahead and address the base. Let's change out these wheels. Now the wheels in the front, they look like they can come off pretty easy. I put equal pressure on it with both of my thumbs and push it off, and it did. That popped off pretty easy. Same thing with the other wheel. Comes off pretty easy. Now, we'll try the ones in the back, but I had a little bit of difficulty with them. You don't want to force these things, folks, because again, these wheels are 50 years old plus, and you're liable to break off that little tab on the end of the axle that holds the bearing on. So let's just go ahead and be safe here and clip off the wheels. Now, if I can save the wheels, I will. But in this case here, it's more important to protect the bearings and replace the wheels than it is to try and save them. I got these little cutters at Harbor Freight. You can get them pretty much anywhere, and they work perfect. Now, I've had these for over a year, and yeah, they're a little bit rusty, and I could clean them up and everything, but you know what? They work good. All right, those wheels came off fantastic. No problems there. Now, I got 2 medium wheels in the front and 2 large wheels in the back. Put these meats on there. We'll just push them on there, and then we'll finish it up with the wrench. Put those big meats on the back. That'll look great. Fantastic. Using your wheel tool that I got from the Redline shop, put it in between the bearing and the base, and push it on with your thumb. Piece of cake. Do the same thing on the other side. Push it on with your thumb. This way here, you'll do this to prevent from bending the wheel on the axle. One more. There we go. Sweet. 4 brand new meats ready to go. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and move on. Here I've got some Tamiya primer. We're going to spray the base with primer and let that dry. This Tamiya primer is fantastic. Now, I've tried some of the other primers from like Walmart and stuff like that, and always had problems. I never have a problem with this. Here we've got the base all dry. Here's the decals we got from Second Chance Redlines. Now, I've had these for a long time. I've been wanting to do this project for a long time. Here we have Createx Fluorescent Red, and I got this paint at Spray Gunner, spraygunner.com. Here's also the balancing clear. This is going to give it an automotive hardness and finish that will help it with the urethane, and it will give it a durability, and it also increases the drying time, and it smooths out the airflow from your airbrush. 40-30 balancing clear. We're going to take a little bit of this pinstripe tape. Now, the front of the car has a white space on there. And you know, I could paint the white later on. But I says, why are we doing that? Let's go ahead and just use the primer that's on there, because we're going to clear coat it anyways. Let's put that on there approximately where it needs to go to line up with your decals. We'll put another piece on just to cover up that little bit hiding. Perfect. Nice. Let's get ready to spray up that fluorescent red. Here we've got the container. Now I mixed the paint in the bottle. It's got a little marble on the inside. Squirt out an amount that you want to. Now the balancing clear, you're going to be using, here we go, anywhere between 10 and 20 to 25%. 10 to 25%. But it's really up to you. And again, this gives it an automotive grade finish and a hardness. Now I've got this little mixer that I got from Badger. This is really cool. It's battery operated and it's just like a little milkshake machine blender. Put that in there and mix it up. Guys, I can't begin to tell you how important it is to make sure that your paint is mixed up properly. This mixer is fantastic. I used to do it with a flat tip, like a toothpick, like a coffee stirrer and stuff like that. And it always seemed to affect the paint job. Since I've been using that mixer, I've never had a problem. Okay, we've let the paint dry, and the paint dries really quick using these Createx paints. You don't have to wait overnight. You usually only have to wait an hour. So we're going to cut up these decals, and we're going to put them on there as best as we can. This is going to look absolutely nice. I went ahead and put the decals on as best as I could to match the race car. Look how nice that turned out. After we let that dry, I clear coated it with clear coat from the Redline shop. Here we've got the base with the brand new meats on there. That looks fantastic. Looking good. Here's the interior all cleaned up, ready to go. And here's the windshield that I dipped in a gauzy. Yeah, it's cracked, like I said, but when I find a new one, I can always replace it. But it did a good job sealing it up. You just still got to be careful with it. Let's go ahead and put it together, and we'll do our reveal. And here's what we started with. A Hot Wheels IndyCar Lotus. It's a really nice car, and I had several of these when I was a kid. But I was always disappointed that there wasn't any that matched the original paint job from Andy Granatelli when he made up these turbine cars. This was back at the Indy 500 when pretty much there weren't a lot of rules. I mean, you could build cars the way you wanted to, use the engines that you wanted to, diesel engines, turbine engines. Innovation was the name of the game there. And that was a really, really great time in history for IndyCar racing. Nowadays, the cars look like they're stamped out of cookie cutters. And yeah, you can adjust them and make them go faster or slower or whatever like that, but it just wasn't the same and isn't the same as it was back then. That's back when the racing was really exciting. And this is what we got to. Look at that beautiful paint job. That fluorescent red from Createx, from Spray Gunner. Look at how nice that turned out. The decals are good. Now again, Kenny Terry is my decal guy. I just happened to have these before I met Kenny, and I was going to use them up. Now the STP decal in the back, normally that would go underneath that bar there. It would be like a bumper, but it's solid, so I couldn't put it under there. So I did the best I could with what I had. I'm very happy with the way this car turned out, and I got several other different types of race cars that I'm going to be doing here, but this is going to be a beautiful part to my collection. I have been wanting to do this for over a year, and I finally got the time to do it. What a fantastic time. Now I've got a Patreon page that I want to introduce you to. Join the team. You'll be helping out my YouTube page by helping me with my supplies. Now, all the donations that are made go towards the supplies. I don't put any in my pocket. It helps keep the YouTube channel going. Now, what you'll receive: see videos at least a day or more in advance. You'll have personal advice from me for your own diecast hobby. I'll be available for video one-on-one help if you need it. Prize drawings once a month, exclusive custom offers only available to members, and many, many more offers. So please become a member of the Patreon team. I'd like to thank my current Patreon team members: Grim Reaper Level, William K7 Robinson, Dale Johnson, Ed Ostrander, and Richard Reese. Fantastic folks. Thank you guys so much for your help. Mortician Level, Jake Rademacher, Ray Berger, Air Warrior Coffee Company, Ricky Montalvo, and Jason Warren. For Funeral Director Level, Double B's Customs, check out his Facebook page. Diecast Sheriff, he's got a great YouTube page, check it out. He's got some great videos. And Dave Christensen. Gravedigger Level, Aaron Murphy, Leroy, Andrew Hitchens, John Sellers, check out his YouTube page. Bob DeNice, Les Jenkins, Wade Hendricks, Trevor DeViz, Grizz Flowers, Bearcat Designs 3D Printing, check him out. Chris Decker, Keith Kripe, Johnny Hicks, and my little buddy William, Stacy Wright, Ryan Goldstein, Richie Ramos, new member, thank you so much. Ralph O'Neill Jr., Michael Oxley, John Homan, thank you gentlemen so much. Paul Bearer Level, Mr. Gary Tasker, thank you so much, sir, for your generosity. My hearse drivers, Jim Silva, check out his YouTube page. Richard over at Michio Woods Garage, check out his Facebook page. He sells a lot of Hot Wheels. If you got something you're looking for, check him out. Mr. Daryl Begtel, a really good builder. Ronald Raby, Tony Hughes in the UK. Stephen Terrence, Diecast Pirate, Pin Tony, Scott Turner, and Mr. Pete Langford. Guys, I can't thank you enough for your generosity and your help on the Diecast Graveyard Patreon page. If you want to be a member, go to the link in the comments section. Join the team today. We'd love to have you be a member of the team. So now it's time to add something to the prize coffin. Once a week, I add something to the prize coffin, and when I hit 4,000 subscribers, which is coming up very close, one subscriber will win everything in the prize coffin. Now, I just started this a few weeks ago, and I add something new every single week. I got this idea from my friend Keith over at Outlaw Speed Shop, who has the Wicked Pissa-Jaw. So every time I reach another level of 1,000 subscribers, we'll do another drawing. This week, what we're going to add is a set of helping hands. A set of helping hands we're going to add to the prize coffin, and one lucky subscriber is going to win it all. This video was brought to you by the Redline Shop. The Redline Shop offers a complete line of decals, tools to take your car apart, put them back together, replacement hoods, replacement glass, those beautiful Redline tires, and of course, the world-famous Spectre Flame paints. Fantastic products. The Redline Shop at www.redlineshop.com, where Redlines come to life. I want to thank you so much for joining me today on Diecast Graveyard. We got a lot more videos coming up, and please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment in there. Let me know what you'd like to see coming up. I got a lot of ideas. We got a lot of build-offs coming, and I thank you for subscribing to the channel. Cheers.